Hey guys, hope you're doing well. For this video in the series, what we're going to be looking at is starting to turn our beat that we've created into a more specific style. So we're going to explore some different styles over the coming weeks, but this first style that we're going to look at is trap music. Now, I'm just going to play this track back as it is at the moment, and you'll hear that it's not very trap at the moment. Right? It's pretty blasé, pretty just, you know, very average sounding EDM, like I just threw some stuff together. Funny thing, that's pretty much what I've done so far. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually hone down and create a bit of a style, okay? So first thing that I'm going to do is quick shout out to oh, what's the video called? There's an excellent video. Check it out in the description. I'll have it linked there. It's like about the history of trap and what defines that sort of sound. So this video is going to focus around our drums. So I'm going to just turn my drums up there and solo them. So our drums at the moment pretty much look like this. Right, pretty straightforward, pretty dancey. First thing that I want to note is that from the pickup from the video that hopefully you give a bit of a watch to, is that the drums that are used in trap music are not 909, right? They're not the 909, they're the 808s. So I'm going to jump into my drums, drag the 808 core kit onto here. Now, if I play it back, you'll notice it still pretty much sounds almost the same, except the drum sounds have changed a little bit, okay? You know, not a huge sort of change. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to slow the tempo down a little bit because trap isn't normally quite this fast, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play and I'm going to drag the tempo down until I feel it's about the right speed. So I reckon around that 92 mark. And the thing is you can adjust this from here, right? This isn't fixed. Now, next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a bit more room to play around with, okay? So I'm going to open up my piano roll here, and I'm going to adjust the length of time, the length of my bars. So I'm going to change it to 4, so I have 4 bars worth of music to play with, okay? So if I hit play now, you'll notice it'll just play through the once, like for 1 bar, and then it'll be all gone. Okay, right? And you'll see it keeps wanting to play, but there's nothing else there. Okay, now, next step, and this is pretty important, I'm going to spread these notes out. So my kicks and snares, so this is originally on the clave, I'm going to move them down onto the snare first thing. Then I'm going to spread these notes out so that we only have our kicks on beat 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then we're going to have our snares in between. So if I hit play now, right? Now that actually didn't sound too bad, but we can try and enhance that trap sound a bit further. Pop our snares in on 3, and you'll notice now we're starting to get more towards that trap sort of feel there, okay? Next thing that I'm going to do is our hi-hats. We don't want them on the off beats anymore, so I'm going to drag and highlight them and move them to on the beat, and also double the speed here. Now to start off with, I can just highlight all of these, use Control D to duplicate, and pop them in all the beats here in all the bars. So it'll sound like this. Oh, and also to note, we don't want our hi-hat to be open, we want it to be closed. Sorry guys, I'll move that down to closed. Now it'll sound like this. Okay, now that's already starting to sound a lot more trap-like, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on this first bar here, okay? And the thing is that we can actually play around with the rhythm of our hi-hats a little bit. So to start off with, let's try this. Okay, now I quite like that start. And then I might change this to an open hit here. Alright, now, wonderful, awesome thing about Ableton is that you can speed your notes up as fast or as slow as you actually want. So I'm going to zoom in here even more. Onto just this bar, I'm going to drag this note so that it is half the length here and have that go for that long. Now, that sounds okay, but something that you've probably learned from the video, if you've watched the history of trap video or who invented trap video, is that something that trap works with a lot is triplets. Okay, so I'm going to leave these first two bars alone now. So I have this so far. Right, now for these last two bars, I'm going to play around with some triplets. Now triplets are essentially the musical idea of playing 3 notes within 1 beat, where normally we work in groups of 4. So we want to work in groups of 3. Now, I'm going to demonstrate to you guys firstly what an elongated triplet might sound like. So instead of having 2 notes in here like this, and having it like that sort of thing, like having that tap, 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 tap sort of rhythm, I'm going to pop in an elongated triplet. Okay, so instead of tut tut, it'll be tut tut tut. Okay? If you're not sure what I'm talking about, just listen in. So I'm going to pop 4 notes in here, highlight all of them, and then you see that when I highlight all of them, you need to make sure they're all highlighted. Go and drag this little toggle out to here. Okay? And then I can get rid of that last note and pop in a regular size note. So let's have a bit of a listen to this compared to the rest of the beat. Right, so you hear that, right, that sort of feels like a stretched out sort of rhythm, the da da da. Have a listen again. Here we come. Right, so you can have an elongated triplet like that if you want. But the wonderful thing is that you can actually squeeze that triplet into as small a subdivision as you want using Ableton. So allow me to show you how we can do that. So I'm going to pop 3 notes in again. So just pop 1 note, duplicate, 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 and create 4. Right? You want 4 notes in total. However many you want to do, you want to pop 1 more in. So I'm going to squeeze these down. Instead of going to the right like I did last time, I'm going to go to the left. Okay, and go to there. So now have a listen to this instead. So our elongated triplet first. Right, now we're starting to approach that sort of more trap-like sound with those rapid sort of notes. But let's say that we want to make it even faster. Okay, we can highlight all 3 of these. And instead of squeezing down 1, let's go 2. Alright? And I'm also going to get rid of that last note there. Now let's have a listen. Now elongated and fast. Now, that was quite interesting having that little fast one, but you notice it's very short. What I'm going to do is elongate it out to this whole beat here. So let's have a listen to this. Elongated triplet, fast. Now, you obviously don't need to have it that long if you don't want, but something that could be cool, I might have a bit of a separate there. Let's have a listen. Right, so you can play around with different rhythms like that. Now, I quite like that, so I'm going to leave that. But now I'm going to take things to a bit more of an extreme end of things. So I'm going to try and squeeze 6 notes into the space of one. So because I want 6, I want to create 7 notes in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Highlight all of them and drag those into one space like so. And once again, just pop in some extra notes to fill in the gaps. Now that's quite fast again. I might even just duplicate that to that length. And let's have a listen to this. Right now, when you're getting to that fast, rhythmically, you can obviously play around with how often you want it to actually play as well, right? And you don't have to have that many altogether. You can make it that sort of rhythmic motif, right? Let's have a listen to this. Or we can even have it go to there instead and free those up. But you generally want to work in triplets or different couplets of 3. Right? Now, once you're somewhat satisfied with your hi-hats, these are okay. These aren't bad. Starting to get pretty trap-ish. You can play around with your kicks and snares and claps and stuff as well, okay? Because you don't have to be fixed into what you're doing, all right? So let's have a bit of a listen. So, ba, ba. Now I felt an open hi-hat here as well to mimic this one up here. And maybe something like that. I don't know, let's have a listen. Alright, if that's the case, then I reckon just single here. So it's all about listening to, I guess, the space of the rhythm. Because you don't want too much going on at any one time, okay? You don't want flat out hi-hats the entire time. You don't want flat out kicks the entire time. You don't want flat out snares the entire time. So here, we have a simple little rhythmic motif, which leads the open hi-hat, and the kick and the snare to start off by establishing a straight sort of rhythm. Then here, we've got our hi-hats fast again with the motif, but of course if it repeated the same thing, then it'd be the same thing, it'd be kind of boring. So I replace the open hi-hat with a rapid kick after the snare, so do, do, and then kick leads back in. So then we've got the triplet hi-hat here, and this is where things start getting a bit wacky. So I have the elongated triplet followed by single hit, and just you'll notice here that we got the kicks and snares being really basic, bare bones in this section as well. So kick, snare, because we got the elongated hi-hat, it becomes all about the hi-hat, the rapid triplets, open hi-hat, the septuplets here, so double triplet squeezed in, so 6 notes squeezed into one beat, there, and then when we spread back out to normal hi-hats and the hi-hats relax, we get a couple of extra kicks. So listen to those elements ebb and flow. Now these hi-hats here are arguably the more common sounding ones, like that you'll hear in your regular pop sort of music. Like just those, not necessarily the ones that almost turn into, white noise. So that is just the establishment of your drum kit, okay? Because from here, what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate our piano sound and turn that into more of a trap sound. Same with the bass. So, regretfully, I can feel the regret coming on. I'm going to play this all to you out loud now, okay? And you can hear what it sounds like with the current piano and bass. Honestly, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But obviously, there are a few different bits and pieces in there that we need to work on. The piano is actually sounding quite nice and reverby, but that's for a different time. What we need to do now is make sure we go up to File, Save Live Set As, because we don't want to lose our regular template here. So you want to call this trap rhythm, okay? And make sure you put the word trap rhythm in there so that you know what it is. But you also don't want to lose your regular bass, like foundational template, because you're going to be using that for other things as well when we explore the other genres, because it's arguably easier to use that bass template one than trying to transform trap into house and then house into whatever else, okay? Always have that basic template to refer back to, right? So next video, we're going to explore the piano stuff, okay? Get our nice rhythm instruments happening, get the textures and the tones all good, and then we'll be visiting that sub bass. Hope you enjoyed the video. Tune in next time.